Good morning, Big Fish. I'm really glad you could join us this week. Last week we were with Michelle and she was talking to us about Ruth and friendship. And this week our story is about Hannah. And this is in the book of the Bible, in 1 Samuel, which comes after Ruth. And it's all about how Hannah prayed to God. Now, I'm in Joy and Charlotte's bedroom, and this is where they often pray. Have you got a special pray? Yes, pray and play. They pray and play here. Have you got a special place where you pray in your home? You know, in the Bible it says actually that we can pray about everything. In fact, it encourages to do that. Paul does it in the New Testament in Philippians. And it says, pray all the time. Now, this one, as sometimes we've talked about this, Joy, Charlotte and I, and how can you pray all the time through the day? Perhaps you could talk about that with your family, how you could pray all the time. Okay, but prayer is important. It's like a phone line to God. Okay, but it's a phone line where we're always, we can listen to God and then we can talk to God as well. Like with a friend, you take time to listen and you take time to talk to them. And it's that spending time with them is how you get to know them and how they get to know you as well. And it's the same with God. God's our friend, and to get to know him, we need to spend time with him. So, I'm going to start with the story from 1 Samuel. Is it in the Old Testament or the New Testament? Yeah, that's right, it's in the Old Testament. So, this story is all about Hannah, and she's married to a man called Elkanah. Now, Elkanah has 2 wives. Wow. That's quite a lot, isn't it? But in those days, they did sometimes have 2 wives or more. And his other wife was called Peninnah. And Peninnah, she had lots of children, but Hannah had no children. And in those days, actually, you were looked on as more blessed, and if you had children, and it was a really good thing to have children. But so Hannah really felt, she felt so sad that she didn't have any children. So every year they went to the temple, and Elkanah, her husband, would take a sacrifice or a gift every year. Well, one year they went to the temple, and Hannah just had this really weighing on her heart that she had no children. So she really poured out her heart to God. She cried out to God, and it says in the Bible that she was crying and her lips were moving, but no words were coming out. Eli, the priest who was there, he couldn't hear any words coming out, and he thought she was drunk. And so he went up to her, and I'll read this bit. And it says in 1 Samuel chapter 1, verses 12, it says, Eli noticed her mouth moving as she was praying silently, and hearing no sound, thought she had been drinking. Must you come here drunk? He demanded. Throw away your bottle. Oh, no, sir, she replied. I'm not drunk, but I am very sad, and I was pouring out my heart to the Lord. Please don't think that I am just some drunken tramp. In that case, Eli said, cheer up. May the Lord of Israel grant you your petition. That means grant you what you're asking, whatever it is. Oh, thank you, sir, she exclaimed, and went happily back and began to take her meals again, because she hadn't been eating. Sometimes when you feel so sad about something and your heart's really hurting, you almost can't eat sometimes. I don't know whether you've ever had any things like that where you're really upset or sad about something and it makes you feel not good, really. And that is just the time, like Hannah, to pour out your heart to God. You know, perhaps to go to your special place where you like to pray in your home, whether it's your bedroom or whether it's under your covers or whether it's outside, and to go and just tell God everything that's on your heart. He wants to hear that. He loves you. You're his child. So pour it all out to God. And God heard Hannah's cry, and actually then, later on, she had a baby boy, and she named him Samuel. Let's see, and it means asked of God, because she asked God for him, and God gave her this boy. Okay, and then when they went up to the temple the next year, Hannah didn't go because she was looking after the baby. And then she'd promised that if she had this baby child, she would give him back to the Lord. So, after several years, she took her baby Samuel and she gave him back to God. She gave him to the Eli in the temple, and she said, please bring him up. I'm giving him back to God. Isn't that wonderful? She gave a gift back to God because God had blessed her and gave her a son. And also after that, she said a prayer. And you know what? It was, I don't know whether she said it or sung it. She might have sung it. Sometimes people sing prayers, or they can say them, or they can write them down. I don't know how you best like to pray. And so it's got the words, and it's just really praising God and saying, God, you are great, you are wonderful, and I love you. And God loves to hear those prayers from us too. The praise prayers where we just say, you're amazing, God. You are wonderful. You are God over everything. And God likes to hear those. So this week, I want you to have a think. If there's something that's really weighing heavy on your heart, maybe it's a family situation, maybe it's something to do with your friends, maybe it's about this virus. And I want you to perhaps write it down somewhere. And then every day, I want you to pray about it. And I want you to just pour your heart out to God about it. And I want you then to trust God that he will answer your prayer as well. Okay, I believe that if you pray and if you keep speaking and listening to God, then you're going to see amazing things happen. Okay, and thank you for listening, and have a really good week this week. Bless you. Goodbye.